Hello, my friend. Welcome back to Fantasy Turf War. We have another interview for you today. Today we bring you Mark Manzella from Willow Health Advisors. Mark and I sit down and we chat about what his company is doing and what inspired him to take the journey to where he is today and serving his local community out there with his work out in Western New York. And then we start talking about football and his love of the Bills, and he brings over 2 decades of experience, and I think he's got a couple championships to go as well. It's an awesome conversation. Thoroughly enjoyed it. As I'm starting to really enjoy all of these interviews, it seems like, and can't wait for you guys to meet him. He's the third interview of 64, so we're continuing to crank through. And just before we get into that, remember, we still have a few spots open. I wanted to deliberately leave them open for the audience, you at home. So there are still some openings. If you are interested, email me at fantasyturfwar@gmail.com or find me on any of the socials there at fantasyturfwar, and we'll get you taken care of. But we're trying to fill out the league sooner rather than later so that we can get all this content out to the world and get this division lined up and the league set up and on to the exciting times that is fantasy football. But without further ado, I seem to say that a lot. Without further ado. All right, here's Mark. All right, good afternoon, Mark. How are you doing today?
Good, Cory. How you doing?
I'm good. We watched Starlink launched its fourth ship today, so that was pretty pumping to see first thing in the morning, kind of get your blood flowing.
Awesome.
So it's good stuff.
Gotta love Elon. Elon.
And
for sure.
And the Boeing, they had their success yesterday, so it's been a good time to be a space
fan. Love
fan.
it. Absolutely. And I'm a huge space fan, by the way.
Yeah. It's good stuff.
For sure. Yes.
If they're watching, I'm actively trying to recruit you. Please answer my emails. Just saying. But,
I gotcha.
All right. So welcome to Fantasy Turf War. Welcome to the league.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wanted to spend this time today and get to know you and what you do as your business and kind of how that got its start and kind of walk us through what your business does, and I'll just let you take the floor.
I appreciate it. Well, I mean, I'll go back. I'd say my journey started, unfortunately, when I dropped out of college to make some easy money working for General Motors. But the monotonous daily tasks took a toll on me because I wanted to interact with people and sell myself. So not that there's anything wrong with being an auto worker at all. That's not where I'm going. Because I'd made some great friends along the way. And that's where I discovered fantasy football way back in 1997, 27 years ago. But after about 12 years of that, I decided to make a transition. So going from a blue-collar job to a professional industry was a little bit of an adjustment. I finally landed with Geico, which introduced me to the insurance world. And I had some family issues during that time when I was with Geico, and I ended up leaving for a job that ended up paying more money. And I ended up with the local gas company, which services all of Western New York and parts of Pennsylvania. I was there for about 13 years. Then COVID hit, and they were a fantastic company, but I just needed some more flexibility with my kids and learning. Well, they were home remotely, and so I ended up getting licensed as a personal trainer. And so I've been into the fitness and working out since 14 years old. My personal journey was short-lived, though, because the money and the careers would not have supported me as quickly as I needed it to. If I could have the luxury of building up my clients quicker, then I probably would still be doing it because I really liked that as well. But either way, it was a great way to interact with people, and it really made me realize I love helping people in any way possible to help them reach their goals, anything like that. That's what got me started with becoming a trainer and in the field of helping people. So I found that newfound passion, and I went back into the insurance game. This time it was with long-term care, and it was with a fantastic company called Genworth. And they do long-term care insurance, but this was pivotal because Genworth shaped me into the agent that I'm actually today. I wanted to give a huge shout out to a few people there like Jake Calland and Brenton Sawyers who saw more of my potential than I did at that time. I learned the in and outs of long-term care, which resonated with me as both my parents are approaching 90 years old. So Jacob Brenton, along with my teammates, helped me honed my confidence in my insurance, in any insurance situation, I'd say. Um, I had 11 teammates, and we were selected to be a part of a specialized client service team that de-escalated clients that received rate increases. And so I always had empathy in helping the elderly find solutions to their insurance problems. That's where I knew I wanted to go going forward. So after learning from my incredible team and helping countless clients see the value in their policies, I started to develop a flame, which turned into a fire. Um, that I wanted to sell policies in Medicare and life insurance to all ages, from 18 to 80. So I ended up leaving Genworth, not because of the company. Like I said, they were fantastic, but just because I needed and I wanted a schedule that would work best for me and my family. Um, Speaking of my family, I have a biological son who's 19 and a second chance of marriage during COVID to my loving, supporting wife and two beautiful stepdaughters, 15 and 9. Um, so after a lot of soul searching, I decided to start my own agency. So I paired up with a fantastic business mentor, another shout out to Richard Darnick. And after 5 months of training and developing a business plan, and not to mention in New York, all the licensing and training for Medicare, I finally got my agency up and running. And so that's my journey. That's where I am now.
Very cool. It's definitely an interesting journey. I need to pick your brain on the side. So I gained this thing called the COVID-19, and I need to like still lose some of that, and I probably need to lose more. So we're gonna have to talk on the side.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I do have a question.
Sure.
And so a lot
Yeah.
of the teams in this league are small business oriented, and that's
Mm-hmm.
somewhat intentional. We want to bring in folks with different backgrounds. Was there something that maybe for the folks at home that haven't made that leap yet, that was like the tipping point for you to decide, okay, I need to do this on my own? Or is it just kind of a natural progression and you found yourself in?
I'd say ever since my 20s, I've always had an urge or an itch to become an entrepreneur. And I never had the confidence to do it. So now that I'm in my early 50s and I have more, I'd say, stability with my marriage, like I have a very supportive wife. So having another income helps as well. But that gave me the push. Not only that, having my children and their schedules, hectic schedules with sports or school or whatever it is, I really just said I want to just create my own schedule and be my own boss. So COVID gave me the initial push because that created chaos. Everyone was home, hybrid. And I'm like, I can create my own schedule by being my own boss. So that's what really gave me the push was
Okay.
the
Yeah,
kids and the schedule.
we share similar journeys there. Then I think one of the things that COVID changed a lot for everybody and really challenged the status quo on all types
Sure.
of things, and professional careers were definitely one of them. And you're not the first person. I've talked to plenty of folks who have said, "Look, I really focused on family, and I think I can do my own thing, and this is what's going to cause it to go." And
Yeah.
I think it's something everyone does, and I think that's par for us as well. And we started down that road during COVID
Yeah.
as well. So I mean, fortunately, unfortunately, I mean, it did have some good things come out of it.
Yep, absolutely. And crazy enough as it is, I got married during COVID, and 2 days or 3 days before the wedding, they closed the venue for COVID.
Oh, jeez.
So we had to scramble and find something in another county that was open. Luckily, I have a brother-in-law who owns a restaurant, and so we made it work. Drastically reduced the size of the audience, but we made it work. But
That's cool. What kind
yeah,
of restaurant does he
yeah.
have?
He owns a restaurant called Country Cottage. It's like an American restaurant, but they're known for their breakfast, monster portions. So fantastic restaurant.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to him.
Niagara, it's
I
in
will.
Niagara County. Yeah.
All right. I'll have to find my way out there. I do love me some good
If you ever do.
breakfast food. So,
Yeah. Huge portions.
I mean, I love all food, but
Me too.
particularly
Me
breakfast
too.
foods.
Yeah, me too. Exactly.
So I do have one question, and it's just
Yes, sir.
something. So my wife is a registered nurse, so we're well versed in the medical world.
Okay.
What is it that a health advisor company, like, what does that actually do, and like how does that balance with maybe other medical jobs or medical
Okay.
careers or businesses?
Okay. I would say really an advisor or an agent, it's kind of one and the same. But I would say health advisor because I am talking to the elderly about Medicare. So we're going over, we're deep diving into, their health. Um, and then when you go over life insurance as well, you're getting into not only their finances, but their health and me again with that personal training background. I like to focus on the health and what's important to them and what they need because then I could help. It helps me tailor what I'm looking for when it comes to a policy for my clients. So that's really an advisor is like an agent, but I really like to focus more on the client's health as well.
Very cool. So it's more like a
Yeah,
holistic approach, whole person.
definitely holistic for sure.
Very cool. And I think
Yes,
that's
sir.
it's an admirable career to be in and part of the industry to be in. With it's going to happen to all of us, hopefully, one day. And,
Yeah.
we're going to get old. My son reminds me that of every day. So, it's coming.
That's mine.
So better to be prepared and better way to do it than with professionals who
Yeah.
know what they're doing. So I think it's an admirable career to be in. So.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that, Corey.
Yeah,
Thank
of course. All right, so let's switch gears a little bit, talk some shop. We already dropped a little bit of a hint here, but you, sir, are, I think, as of date of recording, the second highest amount of years of experience in fantasy football with 27 years. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay, so this is before Google.
Yeah.
Maybe before internet, but you're definitely doing this on paper, huh?
I was at the time, for sure. We would go to, we started at when I worked in the automotive industry in someone's basement. We'd all meet and put up the big board, and put all the names on there, which is still fun to do. It's a good way to get everyone together. But between that and the invention of Madden, once that happened, and then there was franchise mode, I was like, I could draft. And I was sold. Like that's what really got me into it. Madden started it, I'd say.
Yeah. Do you have a particular one that was your favorite? I think I probably picked Madden '94 on Sega Genesis was the one I remember most growing up.
Okay, mine started with PlayStation.
Okay.
Yeah, because when I didn't have a Genesis, although nothing wrong with it. Those were awesome. But it started, I'd say 98, 99, Kurt Warner and Marshall Falk and Peyton Manning. Yeah, I was sold because then it gave you the ability to draft. And once you do franchise mode and you could be a GM. And then I'm like, that was it for me.
Yep, that's your dream right there.
Countless hours on that machine.
Yeah, I remember my dad was doing some fantasy football drafts before I ever really knew what it was. And Marshall Falk was like talk of the town. That's the one you wanted. So I remember watching him play. We're from Chicago, so him being a Ram was a little controversial for the family, but we pulled through.
Yeah, I mean, during that time I was and still am a Bills fan, so that was the beginning of their heyday of starting to lose every season after they lost 5 Super Bowls, but no one's counting.
They've had a good couple of years. But we can let the past beat the past,
They've
got some good times ahead.
Yeah, now things are picking up again thanks to Josh.
Yep.
And a good GM and coach, I'd say.
Yep. So your team this year, what have you decided to name your team?
It is called No Huddle, and that was the name of the offense when Jim Kelly ran the Bills. They would do the No Huddle offense. Ted Marchibroda was the offensive coordinator back then, and he started what was called the K-Gun No Huddle offense. So that's what I stuck with for my team name.
Appropriate as a Bills fan. And I will say, actually, I think we're maybe 25% of the way through the interviews. You're actually one of the rare teams that is you're a fan of your local team. Most of them are mismatched. So we talked about one of the other teams from Western New York is a Colts fan, but you're from Western New York,
Right.
and you're appropriately a Bills fan. So,
Yes.
is it just something you were born and raised with, and just kind of stuck with you, or was there something in particular?
Well, I wasn't born and raised with it because my father was a hockey fan, so it was more Buffalo Sabres. But it started in '89 when maybe you would have called me a bandwagon fan back in '89, but that was when they started winning and becoming very popular and talked about. I think I was a junior in high school, and I just started watching it, and then watched the first Super Bowl. The first and only time I really cried when they lost, because that was when they went wide right and missed the field goal. And but I was hooked since '89, I'd say.
Okay, I think
Yeah,
if you've been a Bills fan since '89, I think it's safe to say you're no
more than a
longer a
bit.
bandwagon.
I hope not anymore. Right.
Yeah, and especially if you've been through the tough times. I'm a Raiders fan. I got some Raiders stuff in the background here.
Yeah.
We've had some many bad years. I think 2003 was the only good one that I can remember. We lost,
Yeah.
but it was still a good year.
Yeah, that was with was that 23? Was that with Derek Carr? Or that was
No, it was 2003. That would have been
2003.
Tim Brown.
Okay.
Yep, and then I think Tim Brown switched to the Bucks after we lost to him. So.
Yeah, and Gruden, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was a heartbreaking one. Because I'm also a Cubs fan, being from Chicago. So like years of suffering just seems to be good for me. So like we're
You know that.
Eventually,
we feel each other's pain.
Yeah. We start a little support group on the side.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, battered, disgruntled.
Yeah.
Football sports fans for sure. But it's all good. Good or bad. I'm just happy we have a team here. Buffalo's not a huge market, so I'm feel blessed that we still have a team.
Yeah, and you guys have had some really good years, so it's got to be a good time to be around.
We're building a new stadium right now too. That's kind of fun to watch.
Yeah. My team decided to build a new stadium the year after I moved away from it, so that's it's rough.
Of course, right?
So I gotta get out there. We're trying to get all the teams out there, but that's a spoiler alert for next season. So
that would be fantastic.
Awesome. Get the stickers,
Sure
the big boards.
Time. I'm in.
Yep. So we gotta get through this year first.
All right. One year at a time.
1 year at a time. All right, so let's switch it into overtime now. We end this interview with the same 3 questions for every team. You have no preparation, no study guides, no math involved, if that helps.
Okay.
But all right, question number 1.
All right.
Do you believe in aliens?
I believe that there's definitely what is the new term? It's not UFO, it's UAPs. I do believe in that, especially since they've released all that footage, with the Pentagon. So right now I'm leaning at about 60-40.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's something going on out there.
Something, huh? All right. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Get a bunch of different answers, so I think you're about pretty much what everyone else says too. So all good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. What is the most unusual item you have in your office, and what is the story behind it? And I'll filibuster here a little bit and say that unusual can be anything you want.
Okay, I have a gift that was a Troy Aikman jersey that's framed, who also destroyed the Bills during their but it was a gift, and it's signed, and so I would say my Troy Aikman jersey.
Okay, was he ever on your fantasy team or anything like that?
Nope. I'll say this though, Tony Romo was, and I was in the championship game, and he got injured 5 minutes into the game, in my championship game, and so I lost the game by 1 point though. But if he would have won, that would have been a huge payout one year.
Yeah, that actually brings me back. We'll pause on that second question. And one, there's a lot of questions about someone giving you a Troy Aikman jersey. Was that like a bad omen thing, or was it a genuine gift? Or
it was a genuine gift from my father-in-law. So I'm not gonna
Yeah.
Discard that.
Good call. Good call.
No, but I'm
Blink
just
twice.
a huge fan. Exactly. You're listening, Jerry. No, honestly though, I'm just a huge sports fan, so any memorabilia I just love.
Yeah, same here. And there's no, they say there's no honor amongst thieves. There's no love for your team when it comes to fantasy football. So
absolutely,
I have Christian McCaffrey signed stuff, and I'm a Raiders fan. So even though he's on my hated 49ers, I will still, gladly buy his stuff because he's a fantasy legend. So
that's how I feel about Barry Sanders. I always love Barry Sanders. Yeah.
Oh, so I wanted to go back real quick.
Yes.
We did not cover of the 27 years. That's awesome. How many championships do you have in your belt? Uh-oh.
3.
Hey, at least you got one.
Not a lot. I mean, I've been close, but as people who are new to this will find out, there's a lot of luck as well as skill.
Yeah,
too.
Some luck, some skill, some praying involved.
Yep.
Many a long Monday
nights.
Get into
some analytics. Yes. Especially on those late night games when it comes down to the wire. You stay up late for that, and then they lose. That makes it even more special.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But there's highs and lows, but it's still awesome.
Yeah, it's fun either way. Yep. And especially with something like Fantasy Turf War, where there's 64 teams, it's some serious competition. There's a lot of shit talking, but there's also a lot of competition. You've got to actually know somewhat what you're doing. But we also know someone who's never played before that wins the thing. So we'll see.
It happens. That happens. But bring on the shit talking. I'm all about it.
There are some that I'm like, hey, maybe read the room a little bit before you just dive right in. If you know each other, cool. I don't think you know anybody yet, so it's like.
No, I'm not looking to anger anyone. Just fun sports, just some fun banter. That's it.
Yeah, I always pitch it like WWE, right? It's like semi-scripted, it's common kind of thing, but it's not personal. It's not real.
Love the WWE on top of that, but that's another subject.
All right, so we'll wrap today with the last question, and that is, you have 30 seconds, and you can tell the world one thing, and they have to listen. What would you choose to tell the world with your 30 seconds?
I would tell them about what I have to offer in my company, which is helping people, whether they're young, starting in a life insurance policy, or elderly, helping them navigate the waters of Medicare or anyone in between. Helps me realize that I'm making a difference in people's lives. I run my business with 4 components: honesty, integrity, compassion, and empathy. I want people to feel valued when they speak with me and part of a family that they can count on when it's needed. So my goal with Willow Bridge Health Advisors is not only to help my clients, but to serve my community. My business is giving me opportunities to help me volunteer at senior centers and food pantries and ways to help serve our veterans as well. So my hope and prayers are that Willow Bridge Health Advisors will be something much bigger to help me help the disadvantaged and the communities of Buffalo and spread more love and support for anyone who needs it. I want this to be much bigger than me.
That's awesome. It's a great message to send out, and I think what you're doing is excellent work for the community you live in and for their families and the generational impacts that has. So it's much appreciated. I'm very sure.
Thank you.
That's awesome. Where can people find more about you and your company?
At willowbridgehealthadvisors.com. I'm on there. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn.
All right. And we'll make sure we link to all those in the show notes so that people can find you there. Sir, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I wish you...
Me as well with you. Thank you, Cory.
Thanks. I wish you much success in the season, and welcome to the league. I do...
Thank you.
I would say that I wish you'd win the whole thing, but I kind of tell every team that, so, but I really mean it.
I gotcha. All right. Thank you. I hope you do too.
I'm actually not playing, so...
right.
I have to remain impartial. All
right.
Yeah.
Well, maybe if you're in another league, good luck.
Yeah, there's several other leagues. It's usually the ones I lose, but yeah, I'm in other leagues.
Me too.
Awesome.
Appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, it's been awesome talking to you, and we'll see you again soon.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.